You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Good evening and welcome to the Pace Radio Show. It's April the 26th and we are live here at paceradio.net and cbgtv.com. And I'm Al Graham, and as you can see, I am alone tonight, at least starting off anyways. As some of our viewers would know, Tamara sometimes has to work till basically almost showtime. And then she has to race home and try to be here, join in the conversation when she arrives. So hopefully she's well on her way and she'll be along shortly. Also, I should let you know that I'm still waiting for my guest to appear, or our guest to appear. That's Melissa Bloomfield. I'm hoping that it wasn't a time difference problem, being that she's in a different time zone, but that's happened before. It could happen again. You just never know. So what I'd like to touch on first before I get going into anything I can think of until somebody arrives, and that is that I want to make note of the fact that I received a message today, this afternoon or late this afternoon, as many of our watchers will know that lately there's been some rebroadcasts here for some of the programming, such as cannabis and creative visualization, as well as battle strategies. And also recently, the integration station, Green Irene and Ashley Vibe, daughter and mother and daughter, however you want to say it, have lost a family member today. And over the last few weeks, as I said, you've seen these rebroadcasts because of the families, she's been dealing with, the family's been dealing with people being hospitalized. Irene's brother was hospitalized with emergency back surgery. From my understanding, he's home and healing. Her father wasn't very well. He was hospitalized. And her brother suffered a brain aneurysm. And today, she lost her brother. So they are well aware that the two of them can take the time. They will need time to grieve. And I just hope that everybody's thoughts are directed towards them in this time. It's been very tough with everybody ending up in the hospital. Actually, there was 3 of them at one time that were all in the hospital. So the family's been traveling back and forth, or trying to stay in places nearby while they've been dealing with this. There's been a GoFundMe page set up. Unfortunately, I don't have that information in front of me right now. You will see it posted on Facebook. Green Irene has it posted. Ashley has it posted, and I believe it's posted at other locations as well. In order to help out with the family, because there's a lot of them, obviously, in being involved in this, with so many that have been hospitalized and dealing with health issues. So the two of them is take how long time it takes and run some rebroadcasts until they can return and keep things going. So losing a loved one, family member, everything is hard. It's never fun. There's no real joy in that whatsoever, and they're gonna need some time. So we'll give them that time, and whatever time they need. So I'd also like to mention some stuff on the CBG TV end of things, and that we on that end of things, you'll notice that Saturdays, all of our programming that runs on CBG TV throughout the week all runs back to back to back on Saturdays to allow just like almost like regular television, what you're used to. There is a 3 minute gap in between each broadcast, and that is just to allow servers and so on and so forth to make sure everything is aligned and caught up and so on and so forth. And just sort of think of it as a commercial break, without a commercial. Some people don't like commercials, so think of it as a commercial break. Go to the fridge, get yourself a beverage, or if you gotta go to the bathroom, who knows? Maybe you're like around here, you gotta let the dog out, or maybe the cat in, or something like that. So use it along that ways. Let's see what else offhand. Oh, new broadcast, or actually a new show. It's not going to be appearing here on the Pace Radio Network, but it will be appearing on CBG TV, and that's the Three High Guys. It's the two L's and Paul, and Al and I, and Al and Al, and Paul will be starting. I believe it is this coming Tuesday, and it's just gonna be three guys sitting around talking. Who knows? Bringing some guests or have some conversations from our audience, people who are watching us online. Who knows? Maybe we'll invite them in. Just join us randomly, just at a surprise. We got a few things that we're planning that I think right now probably um, that aren't covered by any of the networks I'm connected to. They're connected through CBG TV. And so that'll be interesting to add that show. We're looking forward to it. We got together last night. We had some good times, and I think everything will go well. A lot of it's gonna be spontaneous, but we'll have some idea where we're going. But you just never know. You can start with one conversation, and next thing you know, you got all these notes, all these plans, all these ideas, but you don't get to them because the conversation doesn't go that way. It just happens that way. So see what happens in time. Also, in June, I've been invited to talk with Health Canada, as well as Tamara has been invited, and we're going to be going to Ottawa in June. So watch for that. Also, part of that is us, bringing some opinions or some thoughts, ideas with the medical end of cannabis, and the fact that we've been doing it for a few years. Out of the blue, we got asked to submit something. So what we want to do before we go, probably the two shows leading up to when we do this, is we want to interact with our audience. We want to hear from you. We want to hear from the people, from patients. We'll be opening the floor live, bring you into the broadcast, and you can talk to us about the stuff that you would like to let Health Canada know. We'll take notes, and we'll include that in our conversations with them. So that's not until June. The strike that's going on right now has delayed things. We were headed there in May, but we put it off. It's been put off to June, and who knows? It could be put off again. So once we have things in concrete and we know that they're going to happen, then we will let you all know and make sure that there's a big announcement and try to get as many people involved. If we've got, we'll start with just Tamara and I on those broadcasts, and and at that time, we can get 10 people here on StreamYard, so 8 people can join us, and maybe people will come join us and then have their say. If we get enough people, then maybe they'll have to, somebody will have to leave the room, allow others to come in. Come in for a few minutes, have your say, and then leave. And we'll just take notes, and obviously the broadcasts are available afterwards. So if there's anything missed, we can review it and add it to our discussions with them. Will anything become of it? Well, tough to say. There's been a lot of stuff over the years. I'm sure that they have heard and been told and hasn't been accepted for one reason or another. And that's unfortunate because that leaves people with the thought that you can say what you want to say, but are you really being listened to? Are you being heard? And all you can do is cross your fingers that they do. But unfortunately, when you look at some of the track record over the years, patients having to fight in court and, winning the battle in court and then only seeing very small incremental changes to at that time the medical access program. And it just it can be discouraging, but you also if you just give up and walk away, that's not always the answer either. So hopefully with there's a different bureaucrat this time. If they're the ones that are making the actual decisions in the end, maybe the one that was involved in the last discussions is left, and maybe there's some new people that are in there that that might make that change. That might be an agreement on something. Who knows? Maybe we'll be surprised, and when we get there, we'll find out that they are open to some things. But if I hear enough across the country, hopefully, I keep saying that, don't I? They'll make some changes to the better of us. Like right now, pretty close. Depends on what survey. I'm reading anywhere from 45 to 55% of the people who enters a store do so for medical purposes. Why couldn't they have access to a medical storefront, or why couldn't a store have a medical cannabis location inside it, just as you go into a pharmacy? You go into Shoppers Drug Mart or any other pharmacy, and you usually have to pass a bunch of other items. It could be hairspray, or it could be shampoo, or who knows what they're selling. Sometimes even cases of pop. And you make your way to the back, and that's usually where the pharmacy counter is, where you go and pick up your medicine. Why not allow a cannabis business to have a medical location inside? Have them work with places who are knowledgeable in order to be able to run such a situation like that, in order so that patients can go in and ask questions. Right now, the situation, the way the laws are and everything, people can't ask those questions, or at least they're not supposed to be, and they're not supposed to be getting the answers, but the questions are asked. It happens. There's no doubt about that. And I'm sure there's lots of bud tenders that are out there that, they have a way of answering the questions, maybe. Personally myself, I don't go in and ask the question, so I haven't experienced that. But you hear stories from people, you see questions or things posted online, comments online, experiences that people go through, or when you're talking to the patients, you hear what they have to say when they have done their experience, and sometimes they get some answers and sometimes they don't. But it'd be great if they could go to a place where you've got people, we all know I run the promos here on the Victoria Cannabis Buyers Club. People who are knowledgeable in cannabis who've been doing it for 20 years. Why can't they be involved in a storefront situation? Or who knows? Maybe they can team up with a recreational store that could have a medical dispensary location inside it, and have somebody like VCBC being involved. I know that the government would want some type of certification or training or anything along that line. But I can see people I can see some people that are, willing to go ahead and do that in order to be able to do what they like doing and enjoy doing and know what's necessary, and that's to help patients with their access to medical cannabis. You know, people have to do a can sell in order to sell recreational cannabis. Obviously, I haven't taken the course, so I just know that they're required to do it. So it would help, but unfortunately, it's a steep road. And when they legalized um, uh, alcohol, they didn't have bars and all that right away. So, I can't see them having these type of dispensaries within a recreational store either, or the storefronts right away. Or a matter of fact, lounges. Bars didn't start right up after alcohol prohibition. Mind you, there's been lots of history, especially in the Toronto area, um, and here in Ontario, where it had to be 20 lounges at one time. And there's all kinds of information there that people could have gathered or was gathered. I know I gathered a pile of information on 9 locations that were in Toronto, from access to ventilation to what was available. 17-page article. There was 4 of us that was involved in putting that together. And the lounges were, I'm going to call, self-regulated, and they had air vents, and air ventilation, air filters, or whatever you want to call it, involved in them. No smoking of tobacco products, totally forbidden. They had entertainment. They weren't a problem, according to report back from the city of Toronto back in 2012. At that time, I'm going to say probably with the hot box was about 10 years old at that time. There's other lounges that were opened and running in the city, obviously, and the number of police reports or I'm going to say visits to lounges were very small, and usually those were because they were just walking by and they stopped in and continued on the way down the road afterwards. It wasn't like, going to the alcohol district, I'm sure, in Toronto, where you could rack up a number of issues at in one weekend that you could rack up in 10 years in the cannabis end of things. Hi there, Tamara. How
I'm
you
sorry.
doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. I've just been babbling along here by myself for the last 20 minutes.
The
I
traffic was
no,
crazy.
babbling along, but I was also being informative in the process
Of
because
course, you're always
I
informed.
I informed I informed our viewers what's going on here at the network with some rebroadcasts that are happening, cannabis and creative visualizations, battle strategies, and as well as the integration station with Green Irene and Ashley Vibes. We'll be running some rebroadcasts, and we have been. And that is because of family health issues. It's in the family, and passing today of Irene's brother.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry to hear that. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry to hear that, Irene.
Yeah.
He tried his best to fight, didn't he?
Yeah. Yes. He suffered the brain aneurysm, and there was times where,
Sushi.
boy, listen to that cat.
She's mad because
There was
he came home.
times there where there was some hope, and unfortunately, the hope.
Oh, that's the brain is a touchy area, right? And we don't think about brain
Yeah.
health as much as we should, and our mental health stability that goes along with our brain health. And Debbie Steltz-Giffen and I have
Right.
talked about this a number of times about how our brain health is super important, how we don't concentrate enough on our brains. And it's as
Yeah.
easy as one little, like, blood clot or one little like nerve that's, it just takes so little to take us out of here, right? And how grateful we should all
Yeah.
be to be alive as it is. So
Exactly. Exactly.
that's I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Working all
Her
day, I don't get
son.
the
No. Yeah. Exactly. And then her son is, last I was informed, is home from his emergency back surgery and is healing.
Well, that's some good news.
And her father, yeah, and her father's hasn't been well, and he was hospitalized recently as well. There's 3 of them in the hospital at one time,
Yeah, that's
and
tough.
yeah, it is. It is
Especially
very
when it
tough. It's tough enough with
especially
one,
when
and being there. And I don't know whether they were all in the same hospital or not, which would even make it harder.
well, yeah, especially I noticed that, the cost too of them traveling to Toronto and then having to
Yeah,
stay close, and that's something that we don't expect. Like, I mean, and then you see people that, do GoFundMe's and stuff because some of these things you don't plan for. And you might have savings,
yeah.
but you're not working for a couple weeks. That savings gets eaten up really quickly, even with hotel rooms and meals, and with no income coming in
Oh,
and it all out, your savings can be
yeah,
depleted within a month. So, I don't
big
blame
time.
these GoFundMe's and stuff for medical emergencies because
Yeah,
if something happened in my family too, we'd be in the same situation. So
yeah.
yeah,
I know that there were some people who commented on one of the posts about somewhere where they could probably go. It's not. It's like a Ronald McDonald House where families that have people in hospitalized could be there for a while, where they could go and get low cost or housing for that period of time.
even
So
Airbnbs are not cheap. Like everybody thinks an
no,
Airbnbs is cheap.
no,
They're not cheap either. Like I was looking at some like for October for the consultations we were hoping to go to, and they still wanted $300 a night for an Airbnb. Because I was thinking that wouldn't be so bad if we could all stay in an Airbnb. $300 between the 4 of us wouldn't be so bad. But if one person had to take care of that $300 a night by themselves, that's a lot of money,
oh, oh, just think, there was $2,100 for the week.
right? So, like I
Yeah,
said, because when we went out to Mum Cup in Vancouver, Deb and I, like Asia had set us up in an Airbnb, and me, Kim Cooper, and Debbie all stayed in that Airbnb together, right? And the cost of that, because Asia took care of it all, but it was $94 a night because it was a laneway house, right? So it was a little
oh yeah,
more affordable. But we still stayed in that laneway house for 4 days, right? So it was $94 a day. So it still cost $500 for the 3 of us to stay in
sure,
the laneway house for 4 days. So if the 3 of us would have had to pay for that, it still would have been 75 or $200 a night, or for the whole weekend for like each of us, which wouldn't have been so bad. Like $150 for the weekend, for a place to stay
yeah,
singly isn't so
yeah,
bad. But when you think about doing that by yourself, still $100 a night, that's a lot. That's a lot of money. Like it doesn't seem like it's much, but it
yeah.
all adds up, right?
Well, yeah, and then you got to add in all your meals while you're
Taxis
there,
or an Uber
taxis,
or
Ubers,
whatever.
whatever.
If you're driving yourself, transit, like all of that stuff costs. And like I said, food, like even a meal, like going to a restaurant now, you can't get a meal or any kind for under $25 a plate. Like
Mm.
you get a plate of French fries is $10 now, right? Like in a restaurant. Like back in the day when you go for, fries and gravy for $2 or whatever when we were kids, 99 cents. Now it's like $20 for a poutine. It's like,
Oh,
right?
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah,
like I mean, I paid $20 for a poutine in Montreal, but it
yeah.
was also a lobster poutine, right?
Mhm.
And it was at a fancy restaurant in downtown Montreal, so I didn't mind paying for that. But we went to the Black Dog, or it was the Chien Noir in Montreal in 2014, and it was with
Mhm.
Sandra and me. A bunch of us went to this restaurant. And I had budgeted for that weekend $200 for meals. And we went to that dinner, and all I had was like chipped in on a charcuterie board, and I had a beer, and it was $75.
Wow.
So
Wow.
it's like, where goes my whole like budget for meals for the whole weekend for 4 days and one night, right?
Well, Gail and I, we just went out for anniversary dinner. Like you said, $25 a plate. And like, I'll tell you, like, holy smokes, when my dinner arrived to me, I couldn't believe it. It was so big. There was so much there. Like, I just thought I ordered something, just butter chicken. And it came with chicken and rice. Like, that's what I eat all the time is chicken and rice and vegetables, right? So I thought, okay. But when this thing arrived, it was massive. And I didn't know. I actually had to ask my server, how do I eat this? I didn't I
Right?
didn't have a clue. So she told me how it had to be eaten and everything, and then the owner of the restaurant, he came along, and he said, "Hey, this is your first time in here," right? So he noticed that, and he told us about the inside. Asked if we had ever been in there before. And I had been in there once when there was a previous business. It was a former church. At one time, I was in there while it was part of the Salvation Army, and then there was a florist in there, and so on and so forth. So now there's this restaurant in there, and he's brought in some old brick and done some decor inside with the brick as well as the existing brick that was already there. And there's all the old stained glass windows in it, and the floors have been redone.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's put a wheelchair elevator at the
Oh, that's
front
nice.
door beside the stairs.
Wow,
And
that's
then there's
terrific.
all kinds of room. Yeah, and then all inside the tables are spaced to allow mobility with wheelchairs, as well as the bathrooms are even wheelchair um, um, fit a wheelchair in them as well. I'm just trying to think of the size there.
Is it
So that I thought that was great.
because you said you had butter chicken, so is it an East Indian restaurant or is it just a restaurant? Like,
Yeah, well, it's not named by as an East Indian restaurant, but some of the meals or dishes, I would say, are along that line, and
yeah,
I didn't. It was buttered chicken. I didn't know what it even. I read the description, but it didn't. You know, um, well, I got to have something a little bit different, right? So
right.
it
And how
was,
did you
but it was
I
good.
mean
It was
with the curry? Did
Actually
you
actually, I was really surprised. It went over very well. I was expecting there might be some problems. I wasn't worried about any blockage issues because I
no,
ate some things that I normally ate, right? But it was whether the sauces
yeah.
were going to be a problem. But you know,
That's why I avoid
they have
those
an
because
outside. Yeah, yeah. Now they have an outside patio, and what's very unique about this outside patio is that it allows dogs.
oh yeah, nice. We have a restaurant in Kimberley
So
that does that.
you can bring your dog to the table, and you can sit down beside you in order to so you can have your dinner with you. They a couple of weeks ago they had like 6 dogs on their deck on the
Yeah,
back
yeah,
patio sitting there.
that's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, we have
yeah.
a restaurant in Kimberley.
Well,
It's called yeah, it's what the heck is it called? It's one of my favorite restaurants too. Oh shit, I can't think of it. The Shed. It's called The Shed, and they have the best oysters from PEI. They bring them in on a like every other day kind of thing. We go up there for PEI. I took actually Cindy Howell there when she was out here for Kootenai Cannabis
mhm,
Cup. And I took Mark there, so we went up to the
mhm.
Shed, and it's the same. They've got a patio where you can bring your dogs. But that's one of my favorite restaurants. So I took Cindy up to Kimberley to show her the Bavarian city of or the town of Kimberley because it's all done in German Bavarian style. That's how when immigration first started over here with the mining, because there used to be a Cominco mine in Kimberley, right? So I took Cindy and
Right.
Mark up there, and just show Cindy around the area a little bit while she was in while she was in my area. And we went up there, and it's an awesome little restaurant. But Kimberly's a whole if you come out this way, you got to go see Kimberly, and it's just a nice little town, ski hill. It's kind of like a mini Banff.
There's more to this. There's more to this, but I'm gonna get to it after the break. All right.
All right.
And I should let you know and let our viewers know that our guest tonight, Melissa Bloomfield. I'm hoping that she didn't get the time zones crossed up, but if she did, we'll find out probably in the next half hour. If she did, so because I'm constantly checking my email to see if she sends me a message saying that she's having any issues, and I haven't received one. And as of 6 o'clock tonight, she said, "See you then." So I'm thinking that maybe the time zone.
I had issues on Monday night with Loretta, and what I did with Loretta is I phoned her on Facebook, and I sat on here live, and we had Loretta on the phone because she could not get into StreamYard on Monday night at all. Her phone wouldn't let her or something, so we just called her on Facebook, and we couldn't see her, but we could hear her. So it was me doing Loretta on the phone. But
Loretta on the phone. Hey, you got it done, though.
Yeah, Mama, my phone died at the end of the show.
I'm sure. All right. After break we go. Tamara and I will be back after the break. This is the Pace Radio Show. We're live here at paceradio.net and cbgtv.com. You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net. In February of 2022, the Victoria Cannabis Buyers Club and Ted Smith were fined $6.5 million. This for helping 8,500 patients with access to medical cannabis. In our interview with Ted, he spoke to us about how people can donate to help in an upcoming court challenge. And here is part of that interview. From what I've seen lately, I believe that you've got something that you're trying to do as far as fundraising to deal with this next court challenge.
For now, people can write checks directly to Jack Lloyd Law Corporation or send e-transfers to save the VCBC at gmail.com. I guess those are the two easiest ways for people to help right now.
What do you find at paceradio.net? People advocating cannabis education.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more. We've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Cannabis edibles are an effective way to manage pain and other ailments, especially when you deal with your trusted partner, Legacy 420, in Tyendinaga Mohawk territory. You see, we lab test every product on site to ensure proper dosage every time, which is critical when consuming cannabis edibles. All Legacy 420 edibles are made by our classically trained baker and chocolatier, and we also have super tasty vegan options.
Our baker has been in the industry for 25 years. She's also a chocolatier. Everything from savory to sweet, your chocolate bars, brownies, butter tarts, you name it, we make it.
Talk to our knowledgeable Cannatex about our incredible variety available. Give your trusted partners a call. Legacy 420 out on your road.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net. And welcome back to the Pace Radio Show. What are you watching? What are you reading there, Tamara?
I was just letting my kid know that I was home. He's upstairs, so I just texted him saying I'm home doing my show because
All right.
he doesn't come in super often.
First off, just to let everybody know, for those who are just joining us now, we're still waiting on for our guest to appear. Hoping it was just a time difference.
Where is
being that
she?
They are
Where
in
is
a
she
different time.
located out?
zone. She's
Like,
in
where is she?
Jamaica.
Oh shoot! Yeah, that's right. So I guess
Yeah,
she
they're
might-
an hour difference. Correct. Yeah, they're an hour difference because we jumped ahead, right? They don't jump ahead.
right.
So
Is that the same lady that
they are.
That's Shauna from the Hot Box.
No, it was we had Teresa on before.
Right.
No, this is Melissa Bloomfield. She has her own little thing that she's doing, and it is called Mel's Tree Eats, not Mel's Treats. Mel's Tree Eats. So I was looking forward to finding out about them. As well
Yeah.
as what we were really going to focus on is buds and brushes, which is an event that she is doing in Jamaica, and it's to raise money for people in need. And she has 10 events that she's doing, and she has 10 different charities that she is donating money to.
No, that's great. Some really
Yeah,
great things
yeah.
in our world. You look around, you hear all the negative stuff, and because we were kind of laughing on Monday night about Tucker Carlson. Not gonna lie, but and then you hear about all the great people out there that kind of like try, kind of like outweigh the bad, right? Because we got a lot of
Yeah.
negativity going on in division.
Yeah.
Like even at work, I got this kid that I really like, and he's got a "fuck Trudeau" fucking sticker on his truck, and I really like the kid, and I don't hold his little, whatever he
Yeah.
doesn't hold that against. He's a nice
Yeah.
kid, and I like him. So
And you're working with them. Yeah.
well, you don't always have to agree. You can disagree on things and
Correct.
still be friends, right? There are
Yeah.
some things that
Yeah.
people take to the extreme, and there's things that I can't overlook. But there are things that they're definitely good in everybody. There is, even
Now
though
with
crappy, there's still got to be something good about them, right?
yeah, the buds and brushes. I took down some notes when I was talking to her. There we go. Yeah, it's a give back program. Is basically what she calls it. How you giving back to the people. There's sponsors that are involved. The event is in different locations, so it's a traveling event. It's not always in the same place.
And this is in Jamaica.
Um,
This is all done in Jamaica.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's done in Jamaica, but it's also done virtually as well.
Oh.
So you don't need to be there in order to participate.
Oh well, that's even better,
Yeah, exactly.
right?
So, hopefully she appears here. If she's an hour behind, I expect to see her probably the next 10 minutes. So
Yeah.
if
Well,
not, hopefully everything is okay.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Wi-Fi sporadic down there. I know when anybody goes down there, it's sometimes difficult to get on. We had that issue with the last guests we had in Jamaica because there was a storm that had gone through, and their Wi-Fi was choppy. Yeah, with Teresa.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's hard to say,
Yeah.
but yeah, let's hope that she can get in. I spoke with Asia yesterday, and I guess 420, the 42 live was a great success. So they
Good.
had everything worked out well out in Vancouver for 420 for everybody out there. Looks like everybody else
Oh,
had
I've seen. I don't know if you've seen the videos of the at one of the events out there. They
that
had
was
the
in,
massive
the
joint.
massive joint. Yeah. But then also somebody else brought up too, Naomi did, that Puff Mama had a great big joint on a float in a parade back in Toronto before that joint in Vancouver. So
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, was her joint? Was her joint cannabis filled?
no, I think it was just a float.
I know.
Like,
I know. Yeah, yes. I was just. I probably saw it, and I did see the picture that you're talking about.
yeah.
I don't know if it was filled full of cannabis and lit. I saw a video of this joint being lit. Yeah, they
Yeah,
used a torch to
yeah,
light it.
yeah. I
It-
saw. Well, Fred Bell had a bunch of videos and stuff up too, right? And I don't know how the heck any of
yeah.
them got a pull on that because geez, that was huge. That was huge.
Oh,
68, what did they say?
yeah.
65 or 68 pounds of cannabis went into that DB.
Yeah, they were started with 65 pounds. I think in the end the weight was like 61 and change or something.
Wow.
I had seen posted like, and they built it in
That
three
really,
different
really, cost
sections.
$100,000 to roll. Like seriously. Could you
That's a
imagine what
lot.
cannabis was?
Yeah,
Even at the price of cannabis now, average $300 a pound. Back when it was $2,500 a pound. Could you imagine?
you just imagine.
Like, you know what I mean? Because the black market, let's face it,
Wow.
like the cost of cannabis has come down like so bad. It's so you can buy ounces of
Oh yeah.
wine for $30. So that tells you what the price of a pound is. It's not like the old days, the good old days when things were worth.
Right. Exactly.
You know how many people have come into my
Uh,
store and said there's just no money in it anymore, and they've downsized. They're not growing what they're growing. One buddy was in today, and he was getting a little bit of stuff, and I said, like, what do you like? He was talking about what he was been using and stuff, and we were talking about that, and he said, I used to grow like 500 plants. I had a medical license. He goes, I downsized my medical license. He said, I only grow 50 plants now, and he goes, I just can't be bothered. He goes, 50 plants does me for a full year. I grow, and I get cannabis to cover my,
yeah.
me. He goes, other than that, he goes,
Yeah.
I can't be bothered. He goes, it's too much work. I'm not getting anything out of it besides my medicine. And
Right.
and I got another guy that comes in. He's trying to, sell me,
Um,
for $100. I'm like, buddy, I don't want it. Like, I'm good.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to finish the story on the dogs before we
Yeah.
went to break. I was talking about the dogs at this restaurant in Campbellford. It's called the Dockside Bistro, which is in an old church, and they got the outside patio, which is a wooden deck, so you could say that was a dock, but it's right beside the river. Okay, there is a spot there for boats to park, but it's not a normal spot for people to park their boats. They park usually just down the river a little further at the bridge in town. But what they are doing is they are expanding their menu to include beef and chicken dog dishes that will be served on plates to your dog.
That's
You will
great.
include meat, rice, vegetables, the whole thing. Yeah,
That's great.
yeah.
Great.
I don't know who he told me he told me he talked to the vets in the area and some other people, but I didn't specifically ask him like, what about the health board or whatever, because dogs aren't usually allowed in the restaurant.
Dogs aren't in a kitchen, right? So this is because of my food safe kind of thing that I've got paperwork.
Okay.
Like I took a food safe course. They don't have the dogs inside because the inside doesn't have ventilation, right? You could definitely have
Right.
them coming in because then the fur can come in off and into the kitchen into the food. But if you're outside where you've got ventilation and the dog's not going to be in somebody's face, you space the tables out far enough and you're outside the venue inside. So basically the health inspector has no say in what you do outside.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. That's how we get around.
Right?
But yeah. So there you go. You could take a dog. You could take a dog out for dinner.
That's great. I think
Uh,
that's a great
and
incentive.
so we showed him a picture of Tessa, and he just loved her. And so we said we will be back when it's
That's
warmer,
for dinner.
and we'll go out for dinner with the dog. It's
The thing of it is, I think because of the pandemic, so many people bought pets, right? And that was their only, like, a lot of single people went and got a cat or a dog because it was the only companion they had. And now that dog is their whole life. And for that dog, that human is
Mhm.
their whole life. And if they separate, the dog's got separation anxiety, and so does a person. I had a lady in again at the store.
Yeah.
Oh, there we are. Melissa's here.
There we are. There she is. Okay, hang on. I gotta get my cursor in here. All right, there you are, Melissa. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys? Hi.
Good, good. Welcome to. Oh, I gotta move us here. Hang on. There we go. I want you down there in the bigger picture. Um, I believe we were right, Tamara.
The time.
The broadcast. We think the time zones got mixed up
Oh,
because in Canada we're an hour ahead of you because of the daylight savings time.
are you talking to me or are you talking to
So
Tamara? Oh,
You.
me.
yeah, they're talking to you. Yeah, yeah.
Well, because we've already been on the air for an hour, right? Because of the time difference. So we figured that you had you figured it the time, but we've had like the spring ahead. So we're an hour ahead of you. And I'm in British
Yeah.
Columbia, so I'm like 2 hours behind you. Like
Oh,
way
okay.
behind you.
I just,
I'm
yeah,
running to get in here, and I'm always late on Wednesdays, usually like the last little bit because I work
Yeah.
till 6. And it's 8 o'clock in Ontario, but it's 6 o'clock here. So
okay.
So it's
Yeah,
probably when it's 8 o'clock in Ontario, it's probably 7 o'clock where you are, Melissa.
it's a quarter.
Because
It's 7:45 here.
yeah. It's 8:47 here. Okay.
that's
So
okay.
we are glad you made it. Just so you know, we did mention the buds and breakfast buds and brushes and all that. But what we're gonna do is let's just pretend I didn't. And being that you're here, we'll hear it all directly from you because you could tell them a lot more than what I could tell anybody off the notes that I've got here. So
Okay.
go ahead. I give you the floor and
Introduce
you can
yourself and
speak
tell
away.
everybody who you are and how you got into cannabis. So who are you and how did you get into cannabis?
All right, so I am Mel of Mel's Tree Eats, Jamaica's leading cannabis edibles brand, and the curator of an amazing event called Buds and Brushes JA, which is a continuous event that gives back to various charities across Jamaica. Grew up here in Jamaica. Didn't grow up around cannabis. As a matter of fact, my entire family is not canna friendly, and they still aren't, even though that's the line of business that I'm in. There's still that stigma. A lot of people think that everybody from Jamaica smokes weed. They automatically just associate Jamaicans with weed, but it's really not the case. There's a lot of people still even that are consuming that are in the green closet because it's still frowned up. It's still frowned against. So, but I wasn't I didn't even see the plant growing up. I didn't know about it. It's not something that I wasn't exposed to it. And it's funny, like right before I left Jamaica, when I was 16 after graduating high school, a friend of mine was just like, hey, have you ever smoked weed? And I was just like, no, and then he was just like, would you like to, and this is Bella.
Hi, Bella.
Hi, Bella.
Would you like to try? All right, Bella, mommy's in an interview, okay? So you have to go back in the room. He's like, would you like to try? And I tried. Okay, drink it in the room. It's like, did you want to try? And I tried, and I remember I tried, and I didn't feel anything, what people say, you're supposed to feel. I didn't feel anything. Maybe I didn't know what I was doing then, though. And then when I moved to Florida, and the thing is, I used to smoke cigarettes because that's what I grew up around, alcohol and cigarettes. Jamaica we are a cannabis culture, but there's just in Jamaica, I guess there would just be a certain class of people or community of people that use. So I grew up around alcohol was in my house. My brother smoked cigarettes, but my mom never knew. But I saw. But when I moved to Florida, another friend of mine, I was just hanging out in the apartment and she's just like, do you smoke? And I had a cigarette in my hand and I was like wondering, like, why is she asking me if I smoke? I have a cigarette in my hand. And I was like, yeah, duh. And she's like, no, do you smoke weed? And I was like, I tried before I left Jamaica and, I don't think it's for me because it did nothing. And she's like, you should try again. And I smoked with her and the rest is history. I started cooking with it. And the thing is, when I used it then, when I was in college, it wasn't, and I didn't use it intentionally like I do now. But now that I'm older, I do realize and recognize that I remember when I was in college and I needed to write my papers. And that was what would help me. Like, I'd be like, you know what, let me smoke something real quick and then I'll do my work. And I would smoke and I would write the best papers, you know? So, I consumed, yeah, man, I consumed during my whole time in the States, and then moved home to Jamaica. And, you know, when I came home, I didn't come home to be in the cannabis space. I came home to do eco travel because tourism is my background. And I ended up like, I used to always do events when I was in Florida, also these little music jams. I love music. And when I came home, I just kept meeting some of the most amazing people. I'm a very friendly person, and I wanted to get to know them a little bit more. And I ended up inviting them to my home. Little by little, I would gather their phone numbers, and I had a private party at my house. And when I had this party, I decided I was going to make a batch of brownies. And when I made the batch of brownies, I had no idea what I was doing, though. I was just making some brownies, and I mean, I did a little bit of research, but I still didn't really know. But when I made those brownies for these people, everybody really enjoyed it. And this one person that was here was just like, you know, why don't you, you know, start a business? Why don't you sell it? That's what he said. Why don't you sell it? You know, do you ever thought about selling it? And I was like, no. And then I thought about just selling it to those people. But I don't do anything small. So like overnight, I sat down, I thought about it, I slept on it, and I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to start an edibles business. And in about 48 hours, I decided to start this business. It just so happened that during that time, cannabis also got decriminalized in Jamaica. And I just started learning more and more and more. Yeah, I started, and everything just started coming together. Like the more I learned is the more I was out there promoting cannabis. I went to a big reggae concert where they started the first herb curb, and I was a part of the herb curb, and I got interviewed by a couple TV stations and ended up on TV. And when I spoke of cannabis, I spoke of it now because I was learning more also during that time. So I started thinking about my father, and I started thinking about the fact that my dad was against cannabis. And if I had known the things I knew now, I would have been trying to help him during, you know, his time of cancer with the cannabis. And when I spoke about that on air, instead of getting recreational customers, my database started out with actually medical patients. But I'm not a doctor. So I would always tell them, like, I'm not a doctor. I am still learning. This is a new space for me. Do your research, but I can help you with what I know. And and that was how that started.
What a beautiful way. And that's exactly it. Like a beautiful way to help and give back with so many good things. Man, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Now, as far as your buds and brushes event, now, what all is that itself? Like, now we know that you're raising money for charity and all that, but what is the event itself?
So the event itself, that's my other baby. So that was born out of my love for cannabis, my love for music, my love for art, and most importantly, my love for giving back. When I was younger, me and a really good friend of mine, you know, and it's funny because now that the event is coming up and I'm going to be doing these interviews, I keep thinking I have to be as strong as I can doing these interviews, because this girl was one of my bestest friends growing up. I knew her from I was 5, she was 3 years old. And we used to talk about we used to make these cassette tapes, which I finally found it a week ago.
Oh, you found it.
Found it. I need to get it. I need to get it on something before it gets damaged. But I've had this from I was a little girl. Me and my friend Karine Thomas, we used to sing and make these tapes and said that we were going to sell them and give them back to the homeless. And fast forward, I'm 45 years old now, and I'm doing an event called Buds and Brushes, and the sole purpose of it is in order to give back. The reason I say I have to be strong is because on my 3-year anniversary, right before I was leaving to go to my event, I found out that my friend had passed away. And it
Oh.
was one of the hardest buds and brushes for me to do ever, because I still had to be on stage as if everything was perfectly fine, you know. And what I was advised from everybody who has heard the story of buds and brushes is, listen, just continue on and just honor her along this journey, because she was, you know, she was there from day one, you know. So my love for giving back is what made me start this. And the event entails cannabis, it entails art, music, wellness. We started in 2019, right before COVID. It was an in-person event at first. And then COVID hit and we had to figure, so do I want to sit and wait like most people, you know, said, let me wait till COVID's over. You know, we don't know when COVID's going to be over, like, you know, so why wait? And the fact that it's a give back also, I'm just like, but if I don't do the event, I won't be able to give back. So I decided to take it virtual, and for 3 years, well, I came back outside. When did we open up? Because Jamaica was on like lockdown, like we couldn't go anywhere. So about 2.5 years of the event has been a virtual event. I took it to the virtual space. I've been hosting the event every other month for 3 years. And we've hosted over 100 talent worldwide. We've given back to 10 charities across Jamaica. Charities such as Eve for Life, which is for women and children with HIV here in Jamaica. Girls First JA, which holds very dear to my heart. It's an organization for at-risk women. Ebenezer Home is another one that holds dear to my heart. That is a organization for men with mental illness. SOS Children's Village is for Children's Home. Marie Atkins Shelter was one of the first recipients during COVID. When they started having those lockdowns, what they would do is just scoop up all the homeless people and just drop them at Marie Atkins Shelter. They already could not manage, and then now they have all these homeless people, you know, there. So they were one of the first people that we gave back to. The Dear Child Foundation is for families with disabilities that are raising children, or children raising parents with disabilities. Alligator Head Foundation, their outreach program that they help schools, and there was one school where the kids had no devices to do their work. So it's been a long journey. It has not been an easy journey, but it's been rewarding journey, because, you know, like, you know, my goal is it's cannabis gives back. And what I really, really want is for cannabis brands worldwide to just come together so we can give back. It's not only Jamaica. You know, I'm in Jamaica, so of course I'm going to give back to Jamaica. But if I come to Toronto and we do buds and brushes there, then I'm going to support the charities that are there. You know, so, you know, that's
several charities that are very similar. We have transition houses that need help. We have homeless desperately needing housing and help. We've got the same type of, well, you know, you've lived, you know, in North America. We have the same exact problems here that you have there. And that's unfortunate that this is a worldwide problem. Women and children and mental health and homelessness. And, you know, the poverty level in Jamaica is a lot lower or larger than it is here. Like, we've got a poverty too, but the poverty in Jamaica, I've got a good friend that's family's from Jamaica. He goes back and forth too. And so I understand what you were saying, especially about the cannabis culture being separate and not really, everybody just assumes it, you know, cannabis is the whole culture of Jamaica. Jamaica isn't all cannabis. It's not. And yeah, I applaud you, because there's so much work that needs to be done, and we need more people like you in this world. That's for sure.
And I feel like as cannabis brands, if we get together for something like this, it kind of breaks down that stigma. You know,
that's what we need. We need to be giving back to just mainstream places. Like, I work in a mainstream garden center speaking about cannabis on a daily basis, and I'm the hydroponics specialist, so I do a lot of, you know, talking to people that are now, because of legalization in Canada, are willing to come out and talk about it. I'm sure decriminalization in Jamaica has opened doors as well, right? So as much as,
but it's still, I'll tell you, it has opened some doors, but as I said, that stigma is still there, and the people are still in the green closets. So I find
Yeah.
that the people that are in the green closet that has stigmatized the plant, they are more the ones that, okay, they go to the dispensaries because now it feels kind of cool. They're not going to buy from the weed man, but
No.
I went to this dispensary and I bought and I have my vape pen and I, because I think they'll still rather with the vape pen than rolling a joint, because they, lots of people associate cannabis, and we're all learning now, but where in Jamaica they associate cannabis, and I'm sure it's not just Jamaica, cannabis, you smoke, that means you're lazy and you're this and you're that, and no, it's the strain. If you're lazy, you're lazy. But if you smoke a strain and you're lazy, then you're gonna be even lazier.
Right. Yeah, it just accentuates every bad habit you might have if you smoke it. And the thing is, a lot of people don't smoke at all, which is why edibles and the juicing and drinks and other things that have come up in our market as well, and I'm sure as yours, is so beneficial to people, because then you don't have to encourage them to pick up a vape or pick up a drink. It's like, hey, well, maybe you'd like a chocolate or a candy or a gummy, or like Al likes his drinks. Like Al likes to go and get the drinks that
I'm a beverage person,
right?
when it comes to the cannabis.
Even
Over the years, I've been able to make my own edibles and so on and so forth, and my own salves and lotions, but I could never make my own beverage.
Yeah. And even though cannabis is decriminalized here in Jamaica, edibles actually is not. So I operate in a kind of sort of greenish area, grayish area in the industry. I'm very grateful though that it's interesting, because I've been awarded by the Ganja Growers Association of Jamaica for having the best edibles in Jamaica back to back. And I always laugh about it because I'm like, I got awarded for my, my illegal business. You know what I mean? But I think because of my love for the plant, the fact that I educate people, so it's not like I'm not in this just for the money, so I feel like that's one of the reasons
You're not
why.
the weed man. You're not the weed mama down there. Right? You're not just weed mama on the street, right? You're out there actually educating and actually doing good work. And giving back to mainstream really makes a difference. Like, I know there was a time, I think Dana Larson tried giving some money to a mainstream charity in Vancouver, and they actually refused it because it was related to cannabis. This was prior to legalization. Now they don't care. Like, now it's like, oh, you want to give me the money? Sure, right? But unfortunately, in our legalization scenario, even the stores can't donate. They can't sponsor. They can't advertise. They can't do all these things, right? It's just kind of been like
why? It just doesn't make sense.
In a way, even and that's why I'm so grateful for the journey with Buds and Brushes, because just like you say, you can't donate, you can't give away herb. Jacana has been my sponsor now for the past almost 3 years. They've been on board. That's one of the dispensaries here in Jamaica. Itopia was also one of and I think Blaine is from your side of town, from you guys. Itopia was one of the brands that gave back, that donated. And in all reality, what they do, and I like that they're breaking down the barriers, because what me giving herb, even to just the patrons of Buds and Brushes, is something that, probably shouldn't really be done, because you're supposed to go into a dispensary and you're supposed to sign up and talk to a doctor and blah blah blah. But I'm just, as I said, I guess with my track record, I guess that's why, I guess it's, I'm, as I said, I'm just grateful for the support. I'm grateful.
Right? So
all right, now, so you've got the two companies helping you out along the ways there. Blaine, he knows lots about the grassroots advocacy. There's no doubt about that. There was something else there that I was going to go to on the sponsor end. I think your next event is at a place that I know as well.
Yes, Hot Box Jamaica. is our location sponsor for this leg of Buds and Brushes. I met Teresa last year sometime, and she, as soon as I met her, we just clicked right away. And she's like, I would love for you to host from our space. And, you know, Buds and Brushes is an event that is ready to travel, you know, so traveling the island, traveling outside of the island. So when she offered, and luckily I've been camping on that river for years since I moved home. So I was familiar with the actual great house, familiar with the river. And we just really meshed, you know, we really just meshed. And I'm happy to say that Hotbox Jamaica is, you know, our official location sponsor for the next leg of Buds and Brushes, which is on May 20th on Irie River, which is a famous river here in Jamaica. Just like Hotbox, the house that Hotbox has is a legendary Garnet Silk, which is a Jamaican singer who passed away years ago. That was the recording studio that he used to record in. So it's kind of, it goes hand in hand, you know, because the event is about music also. So to be is really
So if you wanted to sponsor your event from outside Jamaica, how would brand in Canada or in the United States be able to do that?
Well, they can reach out, they can sponsor. I mean, in to be honest, like one of the things that I'm learning, I've had sponsors over the past 3 years. My sponsors have mostly been in kind, but we've been in the virtual space for a while too. So the sponsors in kind worked out, you know, help out here with marketing, send some, you know, you might have a rolling paper company, you might have a cannabis university that you might want to promote. There's different ways to promote the event, and we can work together. What we are looking for, though, for the next Buds and Brushes, if there's any sponsors out there that would like to help us, is we are looking for cash sponsors. It's a hard thing for me to do, is to ask for money. But we're outside now, and it's a charity event. And there's overheads now. Before we were, you know, we were home. Like people were performing from Gambia and South Korea and Australia and Jamaica. You know, I housed the ones that performed here. They would come right into my space and we would set up everything and they perform from here. But now that we're outside, it comes with a lot of expenses.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, so, you know, I am looking for cash sponsorship. Luckily, the overheads aren't, you know, lots and lots of money. You know, so it's an easy event to sponsor. And of course, sponsoring the event, you're part of a goodwill brand. You know, there's opportunities for, you know, your commercials to run throughout the event. You can send down some banners. We can have pamphlets. We can do all of what we need to do to promote your brand also, you know, but I as I said, I am open to it. I am looking for sponsors. Cannabis gives back is my thing. I wish all of the Jamaican cannabis dispensaries and brands would come together, because I just feel like that's what we need to do, is we need to work together. You know, like I don't, it's not about Kaya giving back and Jacana giving back. It's about cannabis giving back. You know, it's not me. It's not me giving back. I do this so we all can give back, you know?
Yeah. So the music this involves music, obviously. So is it all different genres of music?
Yeah, it's different genres. So the event is actually a 14-hour event. You can attend in person and you can attend virtually, because we are still a hybrid event, because we still have people that can't make it to Jamaica like you guys, unless you hop on the plane and come back. Teresa's up there now, so come on back with her. So you can, it entails yoga. So we start off the event with yoga. We do some yoga, we do some sound healing, and then we have live music. Then we have live visual artists also. It's an opportunity to create, to unleash your creativity. We educate people about a good way to consume cannabis outside of smoking. So by steaming cannabis, which is with a steam chalice, which is a different way to use the herb. We get you know, it's a beautiful way. You get every single part of the herb. We protect the herb, so we don't put any fire to the herb. So it's kind of like a vaporizer. You know, it's a vaporizer, but it's a fancy vaporizer. It's a Jamaican vaporizer.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, it does.
But it's a mix of, as I said, it's art, it's music, it's DJs, all different types of DJs. The event is normally And I'm a one-woman show, by the way. I've been running this event by myself for the past 3 years. So I'm the everything. I'm the marketer. I am the person who decorates the space. I'm the person who does it all. It's 10
entertainment
live.
director.
I know everything, like everything. I don't mind it though. I'm just tired, and then after the event is done, I sleep for a week, and then I'm good. But it's we have 10 live performances, 4 live DJs, 4 visual artists, master steamer, a yoga instructor, and sound healer, and also added a belly dancer on this one. So it's entertainment all day, all night. I have patrons that attend, and there's a Sarah from Spokane, Washington. She has been to every Buds and Brushes. She is there from it starts till it finishes. She knows how to enjoy the virtual space. A lot of people, when they think of a virtual event, they think of what we're doing right now, which is sitting here. I don't tell anybody to just sit here. It's fun to sit here when we're hanging out with each other. But I tell people, if you're into art, go grab your art supplies. If you're into cannabis, go check your dispensary or your local weed man. Get all the fixing you need for the day, and just let the music entertain you. Get your yoga mat, pull it out and do some yoga, cook some food, go to the beach. We had some people in Bali on the beach. It was nighttime in Jamaica and daytime in Bali. And they were just listening to the music from Buds and Brushes. So it's a good time. So on the 20th of May, clear your calendar and come and spend the day with us, the day and the night and the morning.
How do people spend the day with you?
They can, if you go to Buds and Brushes JA, if you click on the link, it'll take you to my what is that thing called, Linktree, and it'll take you to, so for our international patrons, that would be a virtual ticket is what you would purchase, and a virtual ticket is only $35. And as I said, part proceeds from every single ticket sale, $15 from every ticket sale goes towards charity. So you purchase your ticket online and you have full access to the event from start to finish. You can come and go. You can come and go all day, or you can just.
That's not expensive. $35.
It's not. And for patrons that are coming in person, it's $75. And what they get is just amazing. Like, apart from just the fact that they get a whole camping experience, they get a bud bag, and inside of their bud bag has all their art supplies. It has cannabis from our cannabis sponsors. It has yummy treats from yours truly. We have a brand down here called Mary Wine. It's a cannabis wine that's inside of your bag. We have some chocolate from Seed of Life chocolate. That's a non-cannabis chocolate. We have a snack pack that is also not infused, because we want some responsible consumption. There's we have a new brand that came online. They're doing some cannabis scented candles. So we'll have those by the river, so you can have some, and I think there's some citronella in there, so the mosquitoes. Lots of goodies. Rolling papers from our sponsor, High Rollers. So you get a bud bag that's filled with just stuff that you need for you to and what we do with the steaming is for people to be able to unleash their creativity. So it's not instructor led. So it's not like someone teaching you how to do art. The cannabis sponsors, they supply us with more of a sativa strain, so that it helps to unleash your creativity. So once we teach everybody how to steam, we allow them to consume by steaming, and after steaming, they can put their paintbrush to their canvas and unleash.
Nice. All right, ladies.
Accommodation if somebody wanted to fly down to Jamaica. Well, I guess
sure.
Hang on, we gotta take a break. Alice, stop.
Alice got his hands going. Break. Yeah, we're gonna go take a break, and instead of ending at the bottom of the hour, usually we end at the bottom of the hour. We'll extend a little bit past the regular time because of you getting on late. But we do have a show that starts at 10-hour time. So we can go for another half an hour, but we'll take a break first, okay?
All right, no problem.
All right. Okay. See you in a few minutes. You're watching the Pace Radio Show. We're live here at paceradio.net. You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
When you have a pain that's reached its peak, Legacy for 20, it's so unique. If organic cannabis is what you seek, here's your trusted partner 7 days a week. Suppository salves, vapes and drops, topicals, edibles, infused pop. Just when life seems like it ain't easy, at Legacy 420, enjoy a pop freezy. Lab tested products, make them the GOAT. Legacy 420 out on your road. Legacy 420 in Tyndonega Mohawk territory. Indigenous organic cannabis at its finest.
Let's share Pace everywhere. That way it can help create peace. People everywhere advocating cannabis education.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Did you know that the Pace Radio Network isn't just a radio network? That's right, because most, but not all of our programming is now done via video and is then podcasted at paceradio.net. So if you want to watch our programming, you'll find us on the Pace Radio Network's Facebook page, plus the show's own page, and you'll find us live on the network's YouTube channel. And don't forget, you can find it all, video and audio, at paceradio.net.
Pace Radio is the People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net. Hey, welcome back. Tonight on the show, we're joined by our special guest, Melissa Bloomfield of Buds and Brushes. Now, before the break, ladies, we were talking about the event and access through online, virtually. And I put the carbosh on Tamara's next question.
So if you want to come and be a participant and don't live in Jamaica, is there accommodation and how would somebody get there?
All right, yeah, you can definitely come in person and you can actually camp because this Buds and Brushes, we are outside and we are camping on Irie River. So if you have your own tents, you can bring your own tent or you can rent a tent. So yeah, so people are camping this trip on Irie River, which, as I said, it's an amazing, amazing river. If you visit the Buds and Brushes JA page, I've been posting a lot of little spots of the river. Yeah, so that's how you do it. You go online, you book that ticket. It's the Unleash Your Creativity package is the one that you would book, which is the in-person package. And you come out to St. Anne, which is in the Ocho Rios, and camp with us overnight. We might be adding, I'm not sure, they might end up being a sponsor. We might be adding something a little bit different to this Buds and Brushes. Psychedelics is now, a thing in Jamaica. I mean, it's always been a thing in Negril.
Yeah, because it's legal there. It's
legal. It is legal.
Yeah.
It is legal.
The
And
mushrooms.
I've been on my my mushroom journey now for the past 3 years. I will say that when I found out that mushrooms were legal, I was a little bit not upset, but just I think because for the past 8 years I think because I mean for 8 years I've been in the in the cannabis space, in the edible space, and edibles is still illegal. Like edibles is there's events that will not have edibles because it is banned because
Mommy,
of
I want to hang out a little bit more with you.
Okay, Bella, go hang out. But so when I just found out that psilocybin was legal, I couldn't understand because I was not consuming at the time.
Mommy, when your meeting is finished, I will go back in the bed.
Okay, no problem. When my meeting is finished, you will go back in the bed. So I mean, I'm for it. I'm 100% for the plant, but I also feel like there still needs to be more educational campaigns done because weed and mushrooms is two completely different ball games. They do two completely different things. So I think regulation should be put in, something needs to be put in place. But luckily, the brands, I guess it's kind of like, they get to operate in the legal space. And I will say that the ones that are operating in the legal space, they really are doing a good job. So I can't be too mad, but I am thinking of adding that to the pot on the next Buds and Brushes. Sacred is a great brand down here in Jamaica. And I do know that Sacred is also offered at Hotbox. And I consume Sacred's brand, and I'm more for in this setting where we will be and for what we're doing more of a microdose journey with the yoga and the sound healing versus going on a full on journey because we're responsible consumers so but that might be the ad.
Would you at the event site, now that you're going outside, I don't know whether you have it this time or maybe down the road, but would there be other people like yourself that has edibles that would, maybe would you be opening or is it open to vendors?
I would open to other vendors. There's, apart from me, there's 2 other trusted sources here in Jamaica that has also been awarded. And if I was to ever open the door for any edibles brands to come under, the Buds and Brushes journey, it would definitely be those 2 brands because I know that they're on the same journey as I am. They've been there for the past 8 years. I'm only familiar with all these other brands because they're all, just some, young people that are in the cannabis space making some edibles for college kids. And, some people know what they're doing, some don't. So if when the day comes, it would be more open for, the Canna Cookie Monster and the Local Crop, which are the other 2 brands that are known and trusted here in Jamaica.
Mommy.
Good.
Just wait.
I got something to show you. Here it comes.
You have an Itopian look at that. Nice. Nice show off. That's awesome.
They were at an event in Toronto at the Can Expo. The radio network here was nominated for an award for top podcast, and it was cannabis related podcast, and so they were there. I actually thought Blaine was going to be there, but he wasn't. But I still did an interview with the people at the booth, and they offered me a T-shirt. And then in conversation with Blaine afterwards, he told me if I can get back down there, he would also get me a sweater. They have sweaters too.
Yeah, they do.
So this Sunday, I will be receiving that sweater, and because Kelly got it, a mutual friend, Rev Kelly, she picked it up, and I will see her on Sunday. She's got the
It would be nice if you can see Teresa too. Teresa's there, you know. She just got there on Sunday.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be
there.
nice if I could get together with
She'll
her.
be
That's
there
for
for
sure.
another. I think she'll be there for another week. She gets back like
It looks like she's planning on spending more time down there on the island because I see that she's got her car for sale.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And she's cold. I spoke to her today. She's just like, I miss Jamaica. She had on a sweater. I'm just like, I feel you. I'm like, get on the plane and come back.
We're only 50 degrees here right now.
We still have snow. Like I'm in the Rocky Mountains. Or the Rockies are still just we're still in winter.
Wow, yeah, no, we are summer all year long in Jamaica.
Oh yeah. Well, one of my friends and guy connected to CBG TV, Al Rapp, he's 13 hours north of me. And they're still getting snow.
Man,
they got snow within the last week he was getting.
That's crazy.
It's just crazy.
So. Yeah, I don't do well in the cold weather.
No, I gotta add some time to our clock there so we can keep going. There we go. Good. All right. So, what was that, Tamara?
No, I don't think it was technical. I live in Jamaica.
Now, do you know of some of the musicians or the music that's coming up on the 20th? Any bands or names that you want to mention?
Sure, yeah, man. For the next Buds and Brushes, we have some newbies coming, and we have some. As I said, we've had over 100 talent on the event. So as I said, whenever you guys are ready for us to come over to you, we are coming heavy because we have a lot of them. So two of our performances are going to be virtual performances that are outside of Jamaica. So we have Destiny Kale from Trinidad and also John Young from Trinidad. So those two will be streaming into Jamaica. And obviously, so there'll be a screen that's there. So for, let's say we had a DJ that was in Canada, the DJ would be streaming and we in Jamaica would be watching and listening to the DJ play.
Right.
We'll have Destiny and John, they're coming in from Trinidad. Jamila Falak is an amazing musician here in Jamaica. She plays the giant bass. What do you call that thing?
Really?
That big one, yeah, that big one. Kaini King, he is a musician that's here from Jamaica, but based more in the California area. So he's popular on that side. Jason Wharton, he is our yoga instructor, and he's also a musician too. He'll also be performing. As far as art go, we have Letitia Willocks. She's also a pretty popular artist here in Jamaica. Sherry, those are two that we're welcoming back. Rox Roy is going to be a new artist that we're welcoming to the stage. And then our DJs, we have an Italian DJ, Afro Pete, that is here in Jamaica. He's more of a house DJ, so he plays house music. He's amazing. And then my resident DJ, the Universal Air, he plays world music. He plays all types of music. And I have one more secret one that I can't announce yet.
Okay, all right.
But yeah, it's
wow.
It's a whole journey. And I mean, we've had over 100 talents on the show. I deem everyone as a big star, but people like to name drop, so I'll name drop. We had Julian Marley was on our first virtual Buds and Brushes, and I think I can say happy anniversary virtual Buds and Brushes, because when we started in the virtual space, it was 420 of 2020. So we're in our fourth virtual space year now. But yeah, we had Julian Marley, so having the Marleys on board was great. Stephen Core is from Third World. That's a big reggae band, Reggae Ambassadors, has performed on the show. So it's gonna be, as I said, it's gonna be really something special. You know, I'm looking for my favorite part of the event is the sound healing part. It's, I don't know, it's amazing just to see everybody just really just get involved in it, both in person and virtual. You know, when I look up at the screen and I see the people that are home that are and just enjoying all of it, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Do you do the sound healing at night? And the reason why I sort of ask that is that when we do the interviews with people from Jamaica and they're outside, like we did with Teresa, the noise, the sound,
The cricket.
of the crickets and everything, eh?
Yeah, we actually we do the sound healing is actually in the day, but you're making me think about it now because we will be on the river. I'm excited for the crickets that night.
Yeah.
Excited now that I think about it. Yeah, that's a nice sound to hear now being out. I don't know. Yeah, but the music will be pretty loud over it for the most part because we go all the way till 4:20. I'm sure we'll go longer because the Universal Air never stops playing, and we end with sunrise, yoga at sunrise, and then everybody has the chance.
It goes all night.
Yeah, we don't stop. So it starts. We start at 2:00 with yoga. People will be able to check in though by noon because I kind of want them to get there, find their tents, get set up, and then once they're settled in, then we start the yoga session, and then it goes. It's like a journey from yoga into she's so trying hard. If you could see what's happening over here, she's supposed to be in her bed. There's a whole I can't even look over there, but there's a whole mess happening right now.
Right? So are you guys providing with do people bring their own food too, or is that all provided?
There will be food and drinks on sale. So we will have some vendors. Kaya Pizza is going to be one of our vendors. Also, Ras Desai, he'll be doing the vegan offering. And then there's one more, a local shop boss, which is also in the Ocherios area. Also, we're going to have some, local fruit vendors, coconuts, and then arts and crafts also on sale. So we'll have, not too many because I've done more than enough festivals where I know having too many vendors make no sense. The vendors don't make money. So I don't need to have 10 people selling the same thing. I want, everybody to be able to come away with something, know? Yeah, we'll have food and drinks and arts and crafts.
That's where that's where you could have people maybe apply to be a vendor, and that way you can make sure that you don't end up with the multiples of a bunch of the same thing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So, and we have, I totally even forgot. We have massage by the river. We have a masseuse that will be there. She's been on board for the past 3 buds and brushes. Yeah, since we've been outside, because since we've been back outside, we hosted our first time being out was for a 2-year anniversary. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with Coral Cove Wellness Retreat. That's in Little. That's a cannabis resort in Little Bay in Westmoreland. Beautiful space. Check it out. They do a lot of psilocybin retreats and also getting into some cannabis retreats, but beautiful property. They were our location sponsor for the first time we were outside. And then we did Jacana. They have a rooftop venue by their store in Portmore. And then our 3-year anniversary, we were at Kingston Dub Club, which is one of the most amazing places here in Jamaica. You can't come to Jamaica and not go there. It overlooks the entire Kingston all the way out to the ocean. It's strictly roots reggae music there. We call it
Yeah.
where angels gather. It's a beautiful, beautiful space.
Mm.
And then now we're at Hotbox, you know. So I don't know where we're going next, but I'm ready to go wherever.
Yeah, like, with 100 acres, there's a lot of land to see
I
at the
know,
hot
right?
box.
I was telling a friend of mine, I'm like, I'm gonna go there about 2 days before the event, and I've hiked only to a certain point of the river, and I'm ready to I want to see some more because I know there's so much more
Oh,
to see. Like I know it's really
there is.
special.
The pictures are just teasers.
Yeah, it's
Right.
special. It's special.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's good.
Sounds
I'm
like
glad that that you're able to connect with Teresa at the hot box and bring your event there. And like, do you ever go back to a place, or do you have set places you go to all the time, or do you
Well,
change them up?
not since we've been outside. Like since we've been outside, each one has been somewhere else. But I too have also slowed down. Buds and Brushes
Right.
used to be every other month, but as I mentioned earlier, I am a one-woman show. I do it all myself. And when I had my 2-year anniversary, doing it all by myself kind of sort of took a toll on me. And I was
Yeah.
sponsored into Cannabisiac University. I'm a graduate of Cannabisiac University. I went to learn some more stuff about ganja and about entrepreneurship in the space. And, you know, just learning more and more, I realized that I needed to take a step back because I can't help others if, you know, I'm not well.
Correct.
And I can't continue doing it alone. So I was advised, I haven't really been listening. I was advised that I should take a pause until I have a team around me. But every time I pause, I just keep thinking about someone that needs help. And I
Right.
just can't
Right.
stop. So what I've done is not stop. I'm just not going every other month. So my goal is to have 3 to 4 buds and brushes per year. And you know, I'm open to going back to the different to locations or just continuously moving to different locations. This is a
Yeah.
beautiful island that I would
Like
love to
that.
each
Like,
town and
were you?
outside.
Yeah, like that first place you started at sounds really nice. Like, why wouldn't you want to go back there? You know, like
Oh
if
yeah.
it's
Yeah, man, I'm open to taking it other places, and with the, you know, with my knowledge now from Cannabisiac University, you know, I've also learned to make some arms out of Buds and Brushes. You know, Buds and Brushes is a charity event, but you know, mommy is a single mommy. I'm a canna mom that also needs to, you know, have a roof over her head. So
yeah.
outside of Buds and Brushes, I have curated, I've made myself available for bookings outside of just the charity event. So I am booked Buds and Brushes in partnership with Hida Weedo, which is a dispensary at Hedonism, Jamaica. They actually have offered me to come to Hedonism to curate a Buds and Brushes experience for them.
Oh,
So I
nice.
and it helps me also because all of these talents that has been on this journey, they have donated their time and efforts to us. So with an arm of Buds and Brushes outside of the charity event, I get to actually take care of them now. You know, I actually get to, you know, if I'm booked for an event, then obviously I'm getting paid to do this. I get to also take care of them, you know, so it's a great way for me to be able to let everybody grow in the space, you know. So
Yeah.
so that's but no, I'm open to going back to spaces. I'm open to going to different places. You know, I'm ready for Buds and Brushes on the beach.
Well,
You know, I'm ready. As I
what
said,
is?
I'm ready to
Yeah.
leave and get outside of Jamaica. But you know, as I said earlier, what the two things that Buds and Brushes needs support with is you know, we do need sponsorship, and a part of our sponsorship will take care of, you know, us, you know, being able to move freely, and also for us to be able to market the event so everyone can know and support. Because we are in the cannabis space, you know, we can't buy Instagram or Facebook ads. It's a cannabis event. You know, how we sell our
Yeah.
tickets, those are things that, you know, so we still have that bound, you know, that little barrier,
Yeah.
you know, but with support from other spaces, you know, we're ready for it. I'm
Okay.
ready for our Buds and
Um,
Brushes.
We're down to our final minutes. We're down to our last 5 minutes here. You know, one thing that we haven't asked you yet is, where do you buy your tickets virtually?
You can just so if you go to Buds and Brushes JA on Instagram. So if you're on Instagram, you can click that link. It's a link tree, Buds and Brushes link tree. So if you just search Buds and Brushes JA, don't forget the JA. The word Buds and Brushes does exist, but just put that JA on the end, which stands for Jamaica. You'll be able to find the event. So it's available also on Event High, which is a cannabis platform that helps cannabis events, because Eventbrite, we were on there before, and because of the nature of the event. So you can go on Event High if you're outside of Jamaica, or you can just go onto the Buds and Brushes JA page, click the link in my bio. It will take you directly where you need to go.
Good. We hadn't got to that point. We're talking about the event and everything, how much it cost. Geez, we didn't ask her where you get your tickets. So yeah, like I said, we're down to those last 5 minutes. Tamara, you got any more questions for Melissa before we get into the shout out?
Oh, no, I think she's covered it well, and I just want to congratulate her and good luck and all the success. Like I said, I wish I could hop on a plane, but I don't even have a passport, so I won't be coming down.
Right.
But I could always try it virtually. If I'm not working, I'll check it out. That's for sure.
And you can hop online if you're at work. Put those earbuds in and let some good music play for you.
Unfortunately, I'm not allowed to have my phone even in my pocket.
Okay, so no. Okay, so that's not. But you know what you can do though? You can tell a friend and tell a friend.
We can tell a friend and we can share it.
Yeah.
That's you betcha. We can absolutely do that.
Support is just by spreading the word. Spreading the word.
All right. Melissa, person, place, a thing, website, where people can find the information.
All right. So just go Buds and Brushes JA on all platforms and you'll be able to find me.
That makes it easy. There's so many platforms out there. It's just crazy. Like, how does everybody keep up?
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, it is. I know. A great space that I found though is Clubhouse. I spent a lot of time on Clubhouse. I did a lot of networking there.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, man. Clubhouse is a great space to network, and LeafWire is another one too.
Okay, yeah, I'm on LeafWire. Yeah. I haven't used it a lot, but I am there.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's time for us to fly the coop, make our way home, and thanks to our sponsors. And those people are legacy420.com, as well as the Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. I got notes here off to the side, and they're all messing me up. And don't forget that you can catch all our past programs at our website. And I want to also thank our guest, Melissa Bloomfield, for coming on the show. Even though you ran a little bit late, we still got everything covered. We extended the broadcast to allow you to make sure we got as much as we could in tonight. And a big thanks to our watchers. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you all next week. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own, and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.